Hi, everyone. My name is Cindy Roy Gonzalez. I know some of you on here. If you'll just bear with me, I'm the tech person tonight as well as the presenter. So I've got to keep an eye on the waiting room to let some folks in. So I'm just going to give it another minute or so. And thank you for taking the time to join us. I'm going to give it just one more minute. We've got some additional people joining. Okay, I am going to get started. If you see me sort of looking off to the side, I'm just keeping an eye out for others who might be joining a little bit late. So once again, thank you. My name is Cindy Roy Gonzalez. For those of you who I don't yet know, I'm the Public Information Officer for the town. And I'm going to share with you this afternoon the work we've been doing over the last couple of months to refresh the town's website. And also, I've talked about this a little bit less, but also launch a new mobile app for the town's website as well, which I'm really excited about. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And the way I like to go ahead and do this is walk you through the changes that we have made. And then I can open it up for questions at the end of the presentation. So if you've got a question, you can just hold on to it. That would be great. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Like I said, I'm a one-man, one-woman show tonight doing both the tech and the presentation. So just bear with me if you would. I'm going to share what I think is the right screen. All right. Can everybody see what looks like the current town website? Somebody feel free to unmute and say yes or no.
No,
Yes. We're looking at Canva.
no, we're looking at page animations.
Okay, just a moment. I think I should have had a helper. Hold on one second. All right. Let's try this again. Share my screen. All right, do you see the current website now?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you.
Yep.
And I'm going to continue to admit people as I go. So if I lose my place, I'll come back to it. Okay, so I wanted to provide you with sort of a contrast. So you see what the current web page looks like compared to what the refresh website looks like. So everybody knows and loves this picture here. This is the current website. You know, we've got our news, we've got our hot topics, we've got our calendar, and it just sort of scrolls down. So this is our homepage. This is sort of the front door to the town of Needham. The new homepage is this. So the new homepage still has across the top the big categories, which you can see we've changed a little bit to your government and to our community instead of about Needham and town government generally. You may have noticed this if you've been on the website in the last couple of weeks. They have already made the shift on the mega menu. So it's a lot more condensed. So the town departments, for example, are alphabetical as they always were, but the menus are much smaller. So sorry, just adding people. So you'll be able to find what department you're looking for pretty easily, depending on the alphabet. Then under your government, we've got the things that we've always had there: public records, agendas and meeting minutes, boards, committees, commissions, ways to get involved in the boards, committees, and commissions, other elected officials, etc. We've got our town services. These are sort of the often sought after services here. These haven't really changed, although we probably will make some additional updates before we formally launch the site. Information about the town of Needham, and then the how do I, which is the same as it always been. The search button up here is, again, it's a search button similar to the search button that we have now. I do want to point out, although I think, well, I'll point this out on another page. Over here on the left-hand side, you have our social media channels. So Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. YouTube is where you find all of the recorded town meetings, Instagram, and then this button here will take you back to this homepage. So you'll see that as you click through pages, this little square will remain a constant. So you can always click back to the homepage. This image will rotate. So if you refresh your page or you leave the page and you come back, you'll get one of 5 different images. Okay, so down below we have these are sort of task-oriented buttons. These are the things that people often come to the website to do something. So you've got your alert notify me, which is the same as it's always been. It allows you to sign up for notifications, whether that's a field status notification from Park and Rec or COVID notifications or whatever sort of notifications you're interested in receiving. We've got our online bill pay. We've got jobs with the town of Needham. The newsletter is to sign up for the town's newsletter. So this will take you directly to the sign up page. It's something I get a lot of requests for, which is great. So that's front and center. We've got our agendas and minutes for all board and committee and commissions. And report a public works issue, which you may know as See Click Fix, but report a public works issue is probably a little bit more intuitive. Down below, we have the departments that people are most frequently visiting. So we've got a link to the police department, we have Park and Recreation, we have Public Works, and we have the library. As you may know, the library has its own website that was redesigned about a year ago. It's fantastic. I'll mention now, and I will show you momentarily, Park and Recreation and Public Works will have web pages that look, they're more robust. They look more similar to the homepage of the town's website. So scrolling down, news and highlights. So if you remember on the current page, we've got this sort of news section here, which is a little, I think it gets a little lost. So this new page makes it its own section of the website, and you can scroll through. It's in chronological order. So that's there. One of the pieces of feedback I think we heard most frequently during this process is a desire to have improved calendars. So the calendar section is its own standalone section. The general calendar will include all meetings and events. So you just click on whatever day you're interested in. Meetings will be all the public meetings. And then events will be events that are not necessarily meetings. One feature I'm really excited about, and again, reflects the feedback that we have heard, is this submit an event button. So when you click on submit an event, and the reason I'm not clicking on this is because it's still in testing, it doesn't do all the things right now that it will eventually do. If you click on submit an event, you'll have the ability to submit a community event. So for example, if there's, I don't know, a block party that people are invited to, some community type event, a League of Women Voters event, you'll be able to submit that here. I will get an email notifying me that a community event has been submitted. And then as long as it meets the requirements, which we will lay out ahead of time, it'll get approved for posting and will be available for the community to see. Scrolling down, we've got popular services. So again, using sort of the analytics that we have been provided, we know that there are certain things and things that we as a town want people to know. We know that there are sort of hot topics or popular services that people look for. These will change. These are just right now pulling from this on the old website. So these will change, and they can change seasonally. So for example, we might want pool information for Park and Recreation, or we have here the Needham Small Business Recovery Grant application. That period has closed for the first round, so we would remove that and replace it with something else. A facility rental calendar, Powers Hall rental information, all sorts of stuff. So this, I think, will be a pretty important resource for people before they go in and use the search button. They can just come down and see if there's a direct link. We've got our Facebook feed in here. If you're not already following us on Facebook, these are the most frequently updated and new pieces of information. And then the footer. So I mentioned that the Park and Recreation and Public Works were going to have more robust web pages. So I'm going to show you now, and I'll preface this with saying that the both Park and Rec and DPW are working on their pages. So it won't have all the information that it'll eventually have when it launches. So Park and Recreation. So Park and Recreation, this is the web page you go to today when you go to Park and Recreation's website. It's fine. It has all the information. It's just not particularly laid out well, or frankly, modern or attractive. So the new page, when you go to the Park and Rec web page, will look like this. So very similar, again, to the structure of the town's website, but designed for Park and Rec specific information. So you will have the About Park and Recreation. This register button will take you directly to the Park and Recreation registration website. We'll have pool information. All of our parks and facility information will be here. The social media box on here will be changed so that it's just Park and Recreation social media channels. And then again, this home button to take you back to the town's website. If you scroll down, you can see they also have customized buttons here. Field and event permits, for example, Park and Recreation committee meetings, the recreation brochure that is most current, employment and volunteer information, and registration. They have the ability to change these buttons out as well. And then similar to the homepage, Park and Recreation can put out their news and information in this section. They can also have a Park and Recreation calendar, which can be really helpful. And then again, their services down here will be Park and Recreation specific. Their Facebook page with our friend Officer Rocket is right here. So that's Park and Rec. You'll see Public Works is pretty similar. So this is the old Public Works page, a ton of information, but a little bit hard to find. The text is really small. So when you go to the new Public Works site, this is what you'll get. You'll have DPW information, you'll have the various divisions. We'll have a projects page. So the Town Common project, for example, you'd be able to find by clicking on this project. Report a Public Works issue, same thing as I referenced earlier, see, click, fix. The social media is again specific to Public Works social media. Down here, you'll be able to sign up for construction alerts if you're not already signed up for those. The recycling and transfer station, report a Public Works issue, permits, learn more about our complete streets, and then make any online payments that need to be made. Same here, they can change these buttons out. Public Works news, this is also an opportunity for Public Works to highlight construction that's underway, any kind of road work that they want to notify the community of, they can put right here under this news section. Same thing with the calendar, they can put important dates on that calendar. They can also choose to leave this as a general town calendar. It's sort of up to them whether they think the calendar has enough value to the department in terms of enough stuff to populate it with. And then again, specific public works related hot topics. So right now they have the various divisions on here, and then they have their own Facebook feed here. So I'm going to go up here, and now I want to show you what an internal page would look like. So you're on the town's homepage, you go to town departments and you say, I want to go to public health. So today, when you go to public health, this is the web page that you see. We call these internal pages. And so the internal pages are structured similarly to the home pages that I showed you in terms of like the text is pretty small. There's a lot of white space. It's not super attractive. So the new internal pages they take up the space of the whole page, which is, I think, really nice and easy on the eyes, easy to read. Public health has their hot topics, their news right front and center here. The pages, internal pages might look a little bit different in terms of the substantive information that's on the page, depending on the department that you're clicking on. But they will all have this, this font, which is much more easy to read. Generally just a more attractive internal web page. Okay. I wanted to call out specifically the search function. So I think probably the number one thing I've heard and others have heard in terms of frustration with the current website is that you put something in the search button and it doesn't work. So what I want to highlight for folks is this. So I'm going to go back for a second. I'm going to put in 2022 election. And it brings me to 2022 elections, calendars, and voting. Okay, wonderful. But if I want something more specific and I don't see it, we do have an advanced search button. So you click on the advanced search, you put in various keywords or various phrases, and then you can go ahead and hit enter, and you should be able to find what it is you're looking for. I wanted to mention this in particular because we were asked about an advanced search option, which we do have. And as part of this redesign, or sort of simultaneously, we have trained people in all of our town departments now on the back end functioning of the website. So they now have the tools to make things easier to find. And I hope that with the combination of the redesigned site and that training, it'll be a lot easier for people to find what it is they're looking for. So I'm going to stop for 1 second before I move to the mobile app. And then I want to take some questions if there are any, and then I'll move to the mobile app. And feel free to just unmute yourself and ask a question if you have any.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Priscilla.
My question is that at the start of your presentation, the print looked very tiny. Now, is that just because it's the presentation, or will it look that small?
I don't, so the old site is pretty tiny. The new site is not. It is much larger. I'm going to share for just a second. I'm going to share both the old one and the new one. You can tell me what you are specifically referencing. So this is the old site. And this is the new homepage.
Yeah, it was when you go to, like, say, town departments in the list. They,
Here.
you know, that is extremely, well, at least on this screen, it's extremely tiny print.
Yeah. So I would say a couple of things. It is larger than the print we have today, but I would suggest that once the site is launched, you take another look at it, because I think me showing it to you in this way is probably not the most accurate portrayal.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
But certainly feel free to reach out to me if that is not the case for you, and we can help you
Thank you.
get a bigger font. Anyone else before I move on?
Cindy, what is the button, the current button that's, I think, primarily yellow, that says service requests on the main page? What is that?
On the old page?
On the old main page? No, yeah, this is.
This
See,
is the
see the
old-
furthest
oh,
left
this.
button? Yeah, that one. What is
Yeah, so
that
that
renamed?
service request has been renamed Report a Public Works Issue. It's,
Okay.
if you're familiar with See-Click Fix, if you've ever reported
Yes.
a down tree or whatever, it's now Report a Public Works Issue.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? I'll leave this up just in case. Okay, I'm gonna move on. I want to show you the mobile app. So. Okay, so you may or may not know that the town of Needham has a mobile app. I think was here for about a year before I discovered it. So it doesn't get a lot of use, but I'm hoping with the redesigned app, which has different, not only a different look and feel, but also different information, that this will be a really useful tool for people in the community. So this is what the mobile app will look like when you open it. It includes the latest town news, the ability to sign up for the town newsletter, the calendar, which is probably the thing that was most requested in a mobile app, the ability to pay online, to register for a program, whether it's a park and rec program or a youth and family services program. Again, report a public works issue. So if you're out and you spot something, you can go ahead and hopefully pull over safely, not drive and text, and report a public works issue. You can sign up for alerts if there's something that you're wanting to be notified about, sign up for emergency notifications. And then I don't have the whole thing here, but permits, bids, jobs, and then agendas and minutes, and contact. So staff directory, a building department contact list. I mentioned that the calendar was one of the things that was most requested. So I want to just take a moment with the calendar. So the calendar, you'll see this is blue and this is red. These are all red because they are public meetings. So you can filter which calendars you want to see on your phone or your tablet. You do that by clicking on the calendar button. And then you can also click on this filter button, and you find the calendars by clicking on the filter button. The calendar button actually allows you to, for example, if you were interested in the Pollard School Council, you could click on the Pollard School Council, click on the calendar button, and it would allow you to directly add that meeting to your own device's calendar. So if you have a calendar on your smartphone, it would be added right to your calendar and you wouldn't have to think about it again. You can also, it's not in the note here, but you can also send a calendar notice to someone via text or email if you want somebody to know about a meeting that's happening. Town news. So this looks similar to the news section on the page I showed you. You can click on any news story. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see additional stories. If you click on a story, you'll get the whole page will be the story. And then again, you can send that story if it's something you find interesting and want to share, you can send it via text or email to someone else. Register for a program. So again, I mentioned this is a park and recreation or youth and family services. If you want to register, say, for example, a pool membership, you would come here, you log into your account, and then you'd be able to straight from your phone register for a membership or a summer program. The report of public works issue. This is what happens when you click on that button. It takes you to see Quick Fix, and then you put in new request, and you'll fill out the information to report the issue.
Where do you find the app? This is Evelyn speaking.
Evelyn, that's my last slide, so I'll let you know in a moment.
Okay, no rush. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jobs. So if you're interested in finding employment with the town of Needham, you can click on the jobs button and it will have the list of current jobs that are open. You can use this filter button up here to filter by a specific department. And then again, like some of the other things I've mentioned, you'll be able to send a job posting via email or text to someone you know. The notification preferences. So when you are on the home screen of the app, you'll see a little button that looks like this up here. You click on that and this page pops up. So if you want to be notified about certain board and committee meetings when those agendas are posted, you'd go to calendar, you'd find that board or committee, and you'd click on how you want to be notified, whether that's by email or by text message. I will say, as I've tested this out, I put myself on notification for all public meetings. And so my phone doesn't really stop notifying me. So I'd be selective if I were you. You can also be notified when there are job postings that are added. If new news comes out from the town of Needham, you can be notified about that. So any number of things, if you want it directly to your phone and you don't want to go searching for it on the website, this is one way to do that. And then finally, Evelyn, to your question, how do you access the app? So this app is not yet live. It will be live on April 14th when the website goes live. And so on that day, if you have an iPhone, I'm not super familiar with Android phones, but the idea is the same. You go to your iPhone, you go to the App Store, you type in Town of Needham MA, that's the name of the app, and you download the app. It's free to download, it's free to use. I assume the same is true for those of you who use Androids. There's an app store and you would do the same thing. Georgina, you look like you have a question. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Hi, Cindy. Thanks so much for the wonderful presentation. So I just wanted to ask if we currently have the app, will it just update automatically or do we have to get a new one?
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, but I will find out. And when I put out the public information, I'll make sure to address that.
Okay, that's fair. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Anyone else? Feel free, if you've got a question, I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing. If you have a question, feel free to just unmute yourself and ask. And if you don't have any questions now, but you think of any later, feel free to send me an email. I'm C. Roy Gonzalez at needhamma.gov. You can find my contact information right on the town manager's website. So feel free to reach out.
Cindy,
Yeah.
this is Karen Price. Hi.
Hi, Karen.
The DPW and the what was the other one?
Park and Rec.
Park and Rec have all been updated. What about the other town departments? Is progress being made on those, or?
So the way that it works with Civic Plus is you have to pay for every department. It's called a department header package. So we had to make a choice about which department header packages we wanted to focus on first. Each additional department header package is an additional cost. And so we wanted to work with these two first and see how how these worked and whether people liked them, whether they were valuable, whether they were
Mhm.
a lot different. I think those are the two departments that have the most information that they need to get out to the community. But yeah, I think it's a possibility if down the road we want to create that same template for other departments, we could certainly do that.
So does that mean the other departments will look exactly the same, or?
No, so I'm just going to share my screen again. Okay, so I referenced the public health department. So public health's page, this is how public health's page will look, which obviously is a lot different than the Park and Rec page, which is more robust. But it's possible, like I said, if there's value, if people see value and we could get additional funding, we could do that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Cindy,
Yes.
it's Carol Patey. I may have missed this as you went through. Are there links somewhere on the homepage to those couple of places, couple of units that have their own website? I'm thinking of schools, the public schools, and the library.
Yeah, so the library, library's right here.
Okay, good.
You know, I don't have, oh yeah, the schools are right here.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep, great, thank you.
And it may actually make sense for me to include, as we figure out what sort of the most popular links are, to include the schools in this section as well. I will include, so folks know, in this section, a direct link, even though it's here, I'll include a direct link to the Town of Needham's YouTube page, which people are visiting much more often these days to look back at recordings of board and committee meetings as well. Great, anyone else? All right, well, if not, again, feel free to reach out. April 14th is the date that we are targeting for launch. You shouldn't notice any interruption if you are using the website that day. Everything that sort of happens on the back end will happen over the course of the day. And I've been told there shouldn't be any interruption. So if you do find there's some kind of interruption, just refresh the page and it should come back. But otherwise, oh, did somebody else?
Cindy, yeah, one more question, and you may have addressed this. I got a phone call and missed a little bit. The search. I think at one of our last meetings, somebody asked about election results, for example. And yesterday I was in looking for 2021 election results, and I think it took me a couple of pages through, and I still didn't get to it. I had to go in it another way. Is there a change being made in that?
Yeah, let me. I touched on this. Let me show you again.
Okay,
so. And this will take some work too with the departments. I mentioned all the town departments have been trained on how to make their pages easier to find using the search button. But if you go in and you search 2021 election results, you don't see what you're looking for, go to the advanced search.
Okay.
I'm not promising anything. This is dangerous, but
No, yep.
you've got 21 annual town election and the official tally sheet.
Great. That's
So
it.
that advanced search button, I wish it were a little more prominent. Unfortunately, they're not able to make it more prominent. But that is one way to get, I think, faster, more accurate information.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank you all for joining. And I know that there are some of you who have been on all of these public communications forums over the last couple of months, and I really appreciate it. I really want the website and the mobile app and all of our communications, frankly, to be useful, valuable tools. So thank you again, and stay tuned for the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome. Have a great night.
You too.
Yes, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.